Well, more warfare is breaking out in the Middle East. Hamas is warning the ceasefire is over and it's ready to fight.
Meanwhile, Israel has taken out a key Hezbollah leader in Lebanon. Paul Petit brings us the story from Jerusalem.
The IDF has confirmed a major targeted killing in Beirut Sunday, eliminating Hezbollah's chief of staff, Haytham Tabatabai. He was considered the #2 commander in the Iran-backed terror network. The U.S. had placed a $5 million reward on Tabatabai. Hezbollah later identified 4 other operatives killed in that strike. In Israel, the prime minister promised to continue acting decisively against Hezbollah and Hamas.
The immediate actions to thwart the attacks are taken by the IDF automatically. As for the responses, it goes through the Minister of Defense and ultimately it reaches me. And we decide independently of any source, and that's how it should be. Israel's responsible for its own security.
Hezbollah claimed the attack crosses a new red line. As a result, Israeli security officials say they are bracing for a possible retaliation. Missile defense systems across Israel are now on high alert.
I expect the Lebanese government to fulfill its commitment to disarm Hezbollah, because only in this way will every citizen in Lebanon be able to have a better future, and only in this way can good, safe neighborliness exist between Israel and Lebanon.
Meanwhile, in Gaza, the Saudi Arabian news outlet Al Arabiya reported that a Hamas source warned U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff that the terror group may declare the ceasefire over, claiming violations by Israel. But the IDF says there have been hundreds of Hamas ceasefire violations since the agreement was reached in October. Just over the weekend, the Prime Minister's office says 5 senior Hamas terrorists were killed after IDF soldiers were attacked by Hamas.
This is Hamas, the terror organization who said they were committed to this plan, has continued to prove otherwise. This underscores the importance of why Hamas must be disarmed and Gaza demilitarized, as outlined in the 20-point plan. Now, violations by Hamas continued throughout the weekend.
And in Washington, President Donald Trump announced his administration is moving forward with designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization. Trump told Just the News the move will be made in the strongest and most powerful terms. The decision comes as Republican leaders in several states push for tougher action against groups they say are linked to terrorism. And back here in Israel, the government prepares for more warfare against Hamas and Hezbollah if necessary. Paul Petit, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, it's about time the Muslim Brotherhood was designated as a terror organization. If you go all the way back to the Obama administration, one of his, it's not a cabinet level position, but his national security director was saying to Congress in testimony that the Muslim Brotherhood was some kind of social welfare organization. When I heard that, I went, you've got to be kidding me. And then when Obama went to Cairo for his famous speech to the Muslim world, he made sure that the Egyptian authorities made place in the audience, literally front and center, to hear his speech. He wanted the Muslim Brotherhood right there in the room. That gave them status. That gave them a brand new platform, because in Egypt they were declared illegal and they were put in jail. They're the ones who assassinated Anwar Sadat. Why did they do that? Because he made peace with Israel. This is the ideology that needs to be absolutely stopped in the Middle East. And whether it's Hamas or Hezbollah or the PLO or any of these groups, the Iranian government, all of these groups have hatred against Israel. They think it's a Muslim obligation to wipe Israel off the map. As long as that ideology is being preached, is being spread, there'll never be peace in the Middle East. Well, in other news, the Trump administration is now increasing pressure on Venezuela. And it's a massive show of military force. Ephraim Graham has that story more from the CBN newsroom. Ephraim?
Gordon, 6 international airlines have suspended flights to the Venezuelan capital of Caracas. The move comes after the Federal Aviation Administration warned of a potentially hazardous situation in the skies over the South American nation. President Donald Trump says he will soon talk with Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, even as the U.S. military strengthens its force in the Caribbean. CBN's Dale Hurd has this story.
The showdown with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro could enter a dramatic new phase, as the drug cartel he's accused of being linked to is expected to be officially designated as a foreign terrorist organization today. A U.S. Navy carrier group and B-52 bombers have been operating off the Venezuelan coast, all aimed at Maduro, who the Trump administration says is responsible for trafficking drugs into the U.S. President Trump says he's not rejecting the possibility of putting U.S. troops on the ground in Venezuela.
I don't rule out that. I don't rule out anything. We just have to take care of Venezuela.
The U.S. has launched at least 20 strikes on suspected drug boats in the Caribbean since September, killing more than 80 people, many of them from Venezuela. Republican Congressman Michael McCall believes those strikes and further military action against Venezuela are legal under Article 2 of the Constitution.
They have been sent down on a mission to stop drugs from coming into the United States. And if that means, taking out ships through our aircraft, in our Air Force, then so be it.
Democratic Senator Mark Warner admits the Biden administration should have addressed this problem.
Maduro was a bad guy, frankly, under Biden. When the Venezuelan people voted in overwhelming numbers, Biden should have put more pressure on getting Maduro out then. It was a mistake.
But Republican Senator Rand Paul fears Trump's focus on foreign intervention could cost him the part of his base that wants America first.
I think once there's an invasion of Venezuela, I think you'll see a splintering and a fracturing of the movement that has supported the president.
The Venezuelan leadership is reportedly frantic over fears the U.S. intends to remove Maduro from power. Meanwhile, a new CBS News poll shows most Americans want to know more from the president about what he plans to do before they support military action. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Turning now to the war in Ukraine, Russian forces launched drone strikes overnight at residential areas of Kharkiv. The strikes killed at least 4 people and wounded 13 others. The attack comes amid U.S. and Ukrainian talks in Geneva on ending the war. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Sunday the talks were, quote, very worthwhile, adding he feels very optimistic that we can get something done. President Trump's plan has bipartisan criticism for favoring Russia, but things have been changing during negotiations, and Rubio says a key point is Ukraine must feel safe and will never be attacked again. Also overseas, the Philippines is facing a large-scale humanitarian crisis after a powerful earthquake and 2 super typhoons. They struck just weeks apart. CBN's Operation Blessing is responding to the urgent need with practical assistance and renewed hope to thousands of survivors. CBN's Asia correspondent Lucille Toulousan has our report.
Over the past month, a 6.9 magnitude earthquake in the central Philippines, followed by Typhoon Kalmegi, have left millions reeling. Then days later, Category 5 Typhoon Fongwang slammed the main island of Luzon, leaving its own trail of destruction. The back-to-back disasters killed more than 200, while displacing more than 1 million Filipinos. Nato Hingone and his family endured the full impact of the quake and Typhoon Kalmegi.
The water suddenly rose to my chest. Our family quickly went up to the second floor. I prayed, Lord, if this is our end, I know we will be with you. We also help our neighbors who were crying for help. We shared the little food that we have with them because they were hungry.
Operation Blessing workers became among the first to reach survivors of both the earthquake and the super typhoons, because its One Step Ahead campaign has relief funds and supplies ready to go anytime a disaster strikes. NATO expressed deep gratitude for their arrival in their community, so much so that he helped repack food bags for his neighbors.
We have nothing to give, but my whole family is helping because it is our way of serving the Lord. The solar lamp is a big help, and the mats too, because all our things are soaked in mud.
NATO and his neighbors also received rice, canned goods, blankets, hygiene kits, and prayers to help them recover.
Thank you so much, Operation Blessing. I know it was very difficult for the team to reach our place. God bless you more.
Water stations and filtration systems have been installed to ensure clean, safe water, especially for families in remote areas. Operation Blessing also provided medical missions in the affected areas. Farmers suffered some of the worst losses as the super typhoons lashed across Luzon.
I was so scared of the very strong winds. It is near harvest time, but we have nothing left to harvest because our rice crops were destroyed. What will happen to us now?
A separate Operation Blessing disaster relief team reached Clarita's community, delivering food bags and hygiene kits to affected families.
Thank you, Lord, for sending us people who understand our hardships.
Operation Blessing continues to deploy its disaster relief teams to these devastated areas, working tirelessly to reach communities cut off by damaged roads and bridges. Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Manila.
An urgent response to an urgent need. So good to see that these people are not forgotten. Gordon?
And it's good to see CBN partners there. If you're a member of the 700 Club, that's you in action, providing very tangible relief to people in desperate need. If you're not a member of the 700 Club, I invite you to join with us. A portion of every gift goes into the work of Operation Blessing. If you want to designate that gift to disaster relief, it's real simple. Call us, 1-800-700-7000. Say, I want to give to the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund. You can write it in the memo line of a check, mail it to us at CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23463. You can go to CBN.com. There's a place on the giving page where you can designate your gift to disaster relief. You can also text OBDR to 71777. Either way, do it now. Call us and be part of the relief effort. 1-800-700-7000.